Hi, this is Little Wolf playing games while rambling incoherently into a
Not
microphone.
only did they help me fix the car,
Why?
they threw in a bonus.
Not just because I
Special
can.
this week only. It's like an onboard radar for you guys. Picks up little beacon jobbers like this one here. We've hidden a bunch of these things out there in the field to signal emergency stashes. So keep an eye out. When you see your dashboard light up, you're gonna want to stop and investigate.
I'll fill you in on the road, Gordon. Thanks again, you guys.
No need to thank me.
Okay.
Hey, something on the radar.
Stop the car, Gordon. According to the radar, it looks like there's a supply cache here.
Pretty much on top of it.
It must be this van.
Yes, it must be. Okay, that was unwise.
I guess you cleared up that little problem. Looks like we need to find you a med kit.
Yeah, and it's all my fault, unfortunately. Maybe there's something lying around here.
There's a lot of energy that goes into shaping Alex and making sure she stays on the right path or stays true to the vision that I think we have for her. You know, I want Alex to be liked. I know everybody at Valve wants Alex to be liked. But what is really great is that if I get off course or if I've been in the booth too long and I'm starting to sound a little naggy, then I have somebody who's there to kind of pull me back and say, hey, why don't you try it this way, or I think you're veering off course and starting to sound like like somebody's mother or something, you know, because I'm there to help if you're lost, you know, the get goings or stuff like that, to help keep the game moving and keep you on track. And you know, there's a kind of a fine line. You don't want somebody constantly bothering you, but you also want a friendly companion. You know, you want somebody to help you out once in a while. So trying to not go one way or the other was a bit of a trick for us.
Okay, that's the best.
The radar's going off, Gordon.
Okay, there's one somewhere over here.
I'll keep watch out here if you want to look inside for the cache.
No, I would think that would be really dangerous if you did it in real life, and it has basically no chance of working and a high chance of crippling you, but I guess it's a game about a guy with no legs and no ability to speak who somehow got a doctorate at MIT, so I guess you got to suspend your disbelief a little.
Strong attention to visual design in this room make this unconventional puzzle both intuitive and rewarding. To begin with, the room is sparse, with a reward clearly visible but locked up in the cage. A strange centerpiece draws the player's attention, and the visible switch is obviously a part of the solution. The health charger next to the switch hints that the solution involves getting onto the catwalk rather than activating the switch from the ground. The van entrance discourages players from bringing in objects they might use to solve the puzzle by stacking. The lone grenade crate is a strong suggestion that grenades figure in the solution. And finally, the corpse in the rafters and the scorch marks on the ground, and the story they tell, provide the most important clue.
Okay, so that's
Rocket launcher. That'll come in handy.
one of the caches.
Hold on!
Okay, well. Okay, there's a cache somewhere over here.
We're getting a signal, but I don't see anything. What do you think, Gordon?
Maybe under the, yeah.
Ah, we found it. We'd never have known this was here without the beacon.
Okay. Actually, probably more supplies that I can use at this point. Okay, I'll try to make sure to disable that. Although, I think I will leave this area anyway, so it won't bother me by pinging on the radar.
I'm gonna rest here.
The approach to the White Forest Inn contains a number of elements that set the scene for the coming ambush. The road is blocked by combine walls. A soldier spots you in the distance and radios you in, and 2 hunters run across an opening on the far side of a fence. All these clues are there for the attentive player to spot directly, or to create a sense of growing apprehension in the player who might be paying slightly less attention to the details.
Yeah, I thought I heard a soldier somewhere over here, but I didn't see him.
So in each episode, we start by agreeing on how to use color choices to create and reinforce the right thematic tone. The tint of a scene can be a powerful source of mood. Episode 1 was pervaded
The
by
radar's
deep
going off,
reds.
Gordon.
For episode 2, we made heavy use of blue tints in the outdoor areas. The blue was meant to set an ominous tone, while the warm splashes of sunlight were intended to offer visual contrast that suggests a glimmer of hope.
Okay, somewhere over here maybe? I'll drive a little more up. It's something having to do with those rocks here. I'm pretty sure. here.
Go ahead.
Alright, okay. That's a pretty cool hideout, actually. I mean, not comfortable by any stretch, but certainly well hidden. Although probably not well hidden enough, considering this guy is dead.
A question I get asked a lot is, what is the big difference between acting for stage and film and then acting for a video game? Because this is the first time I've ever done a video game. In general, in acting, it's helpful to have a director's clear vision from which to spring. Then the actor can run with the idea, play with it, imagine new things, fill it out, and make it a tangible thing or a tangible character. And the great thing about video game acting for me is that I'm completely unlimited. I'm not bound by what I can do physically or how I look or what kind of environment that can be physically created. So the possibilities are completely limitless. There are no boundaries with this. So when we get together and we talk about what the scene is, when they set the stage for me and what environment I'm going to be in,
This could be combine handiwork.
I immediately get a complete high, and I can only imagine that it is something like how somebody gets when they actually see the game, because it blows my mind, the pictures that they paint about where we are, what situations we're in. So we discussed that a little, and then from there, it just kind of go on, I guess, instinct is the only way I can really describe it, because I just take what they give for me and kind of volley it back in the way that it comes out immediately. So I just go into my little dark booth, and I can imagine that I'm anywhere, and it's the best kind of make-believe for a storyteller, when you just aren't limited.
I think I missed the G-Man, sadly. Somewhere around here. He was supposed to be visible in the distance, but as I said, I'm afraid I miss him. And it's especially sad considering there are so few of the sightings in episode 2.
It's a trap! Gordon, come on!
Okay, as usual, I will activate all of the
We're surrounded!
relevant commentary after the battle is concluded.
We can hold them off.
Okay, there are some hunters around. Funnily enough, this radiator is probably the best weapon I have against them. Though I guess it doesn't have to be a radiator in particular, but what I mean is simply a heavy object to throw at them. to get a good vantage point. And the crossbow may actually be really useful in this situation because the scope and all that. I will try to remember to save throughout the battle because it's quite long, and if I died and had to restart it all over again, it would be quite a big inconvenience.
Good shot.
I guess it was not bad.
Nice shooting, Gordon.
Okay.
Listen. We're talking about us. They're still after the data packet.
Okay. Save. There are also a couple of hunters around, but I'm not sure if they will enter.
Gordon!
Actually, better for me. They decided to enter because I can dispatch them easily by throwing mighty radiator of doom at them.
God, these hunters are tough.
Not so tough once they get the taste of the mighty radiator of doom.
It's a death trap. Let's get out of here.
Okay. Okay. Getting out of there wasn't as easy as it should have been. Probably do it a little better. Okay, I'm not sure.
Death trap. Let's get out of here.
Okay, another radiator.
Hurry at a time. It's too much. Let's get moving before they send more.
Okay, I need to basically disable the force field. I think that's the end of the ambush anyway. Okay, it seems to be powered up there, judging from the green light. Can I read any of this? Not really.
More of them coming.
another hunter. Okay, I walked straight into it.
Coming.
Okay, then I should be able to destroy it quickly by okay.
There's the power source for the shields. Huh. They haven't skimped on security either. Let me see if I can disable the shields and get you closer to the reactor. Okay, it looks like I can open them from here, but I won't be able to come in with you. Here goes.
Okay.
Sorry, Gordon. This thing's fried. Since I can't help you in there, why don't I stand watch outside while you disable the power cell? We've had enough surprises for one day.
Okay, oh. Nothing in here. Not entirely sure how to. What's it? Ah, right, there's that. Okay. And this should lead me where I need to be. I'm not sure if I actually needed to drop to here because it doesn't seem to have brought me my exact objective anyway. Ah, there's a. Damn it. It's mostly pointless. Not exactly sure how to. I needed to go. Okay, that worked
That
as
should have
well.
done it. Let's go see if the force is down. hope there's no more Combine between here and White Forest.
Okay, so now will be a good moment to review all of those commentary notes.
One issue with a number of our encounters with the Combine is they don't live long enough for players to experience some of their more interesting AI. Some unique elements introduced here with respect to the Combine are branching assaults, so the soldiers introduced to the field don't take up predictable positions. Flexible assault points, so that soldiers can stray from designer-specified locations to establish line of fire or cover. Assault progression, a feedback system so that soldier advances respond to player actions and skill rather than timing. Giving soldiers different tactical roles. For instance, squads in the field distract the player, allowing other soldiers to execute surprise moves not present in our typical frontal assault scenarios. The net effect of these changes is that the soldiers appear to have awareness of the layout of the building that you're trapped in, and a strategy for flushing you out.
Okay. I don't think there's any more outside, but there are a couple inside the building.
To complement the hunter's aggressive AI, the White Forest Inn was designed with a non-linear floor plan. There are multiple ways in and out of each room, as well as alternate routes to the basement and to the second floor. As the player moves through the inn, the hunters often select a shorter route and surprise the player by arriving first or by heading them off altogether. The last hunters that enter the building destroy 2 of the doors that have trapped Alex and the player inside. Removing these obstacles opens the entire outdoor arena for combat, allowing the player to choose whether to fight the hunters within the building or take them on outside.
I think there were some more, maybe upstairs. Maybe not. Maybe that is all. I was under the impression that there was more of those comments. But apparently not. Alright.
The inn is designed as a crafted experience that is controlled but not linear. The encounter is intended to create a heightened sense of danger without actually being particularly dangerous. The idea is to create opportunities for some memorable unscripted combat moments by keeping the player a bit on their heels. Normally, Alex is out of frame during combat and soldiers don't survive very long. By encouraging the player to move back from the windows, the map creates space for Alex and the soldiers to exhibit interesting behaviors that reinforce the mood of the siege.
I think that's all. So let us proceed.
Sometimes, even in an action game, it can be hard to convince players to act like an action movie hero. Here we wanted the player to make a 150-foot turbo jump off the edge of the road and crash into boxes at the bottom. Instead, wary playtesters routinely took the safe way down. To encourage more recklessly heroic behavior, we disguised the easy path and added obvious ramps to clearly communicate this was a legitimate feature of the level.
Okay then. Let's try it.
Look out below! Woohoo! Yeah!
I seem to have
I'll watch the car.
blocked myself. Again? Dear. Could have been something here. No, it was just a fire.
We're picking up something on the radar.
quite a creative way to, I mean, not exactly from the in-game character standpoint, but from the design standpoint to hide the cache, because it requires you to do some, light environmental puzzle to get. And it's also quite satisfying to see it drop down and tumble along there.
That doesn't sound good.
Not quite sure what I'm doing now.
Do you mind if
In
I
the
wait
source
the
engine,
car?
we use a realistic radiosity lighting simulator to generate lighting detail for the geometry in our game worlds. In previous games using the source engine, shadows were simulated as if cast by totally opaque objects. In Episode 2, we needed to render large wooded areas, which required us to modify our shadowing technology to account for the sparse, semi-transparent nature of foliage. With these upgrades to our radiosity lighting simulator, we are now able to realistically illuminate the trees themselves, as well as generate soft, semi-transparent shadows on the environment around them.
Over there! I see an antenna. Huh, I think that's White Forest.
Well, we're close enough to make it the rest of the way on foot if we have to.
Okay, that probably wasn't the best idea. You know what? I will actually end the episode here, because I'm not sure how the pacing in the next couple of minutes will be, with the important scene coming here and there and some exposition, so it will drag the episode a little. So I'll end this one here and see you in the next one. Bye.